Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the 2020 Tampa Bay Buccaneers schedule. I have it up here in the top right hand side of this video, and I do apologize, it's been over 2 weeks since I have uploaded a YouTube video. That's my bad, but like I said in the previous couple of videos, I am going to be releasing videos at a little bit of a slower rate. I do apologize for that. Hopefully I can get to a point where, and I do think I will get to a point where I can upload videos more at a regular pace that you guys are used to seeing from me, and I want to get back to that point. Just might take a little bit more time. I am working on it. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2020 schedule, a lot of people have been talking about it, and in the meantime, when I haven't been able to be, working on and uploading videos, I have been able to go on other people's platforms. I was just on Bucs Report recently. Go check those guys out. They're really big on Facebook, so if you have time, go check them out. I was also just recently on the Cannon Fire podcast. Check them out both on podcasting platforms and on YouTube. They just passed 1,000 subscribers here on the platform on YouTube, so shout out to them. I was also doing a show with Real Talk Perez here on YouTube. He's one of my good friends here on the platform. Go check out his stuff. And then also I've been doing some stuff with Real Bucs Talk, among some other places as well. Shout out to those guys, and shout out to all of the other Buccaneers content creators. And I just want to say this now at the beginning of the video. There's so many Buccaneers people out there making content, guys. It's absolutely amazing. Podcasts galore. I've seen a lot of YouTubers come up recently. There's so many different places that you can watch Buccaneers content on Instagram. There's some good stuff on there as well, on YouTube, obviously, on Twitter, on Facebook. Just dig around the social medias and you can find some really awesome stuff being worked on by a lot of different phenomenal Buccaneers content creators in our community. So I just encourage you guys to watch as much content as you can. It's a great way to spend your time and hear a lot of different opinions about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and just really overall absorb as much information and as much insight as you can. But with that being said, guys, let's start talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2020 schedule. You can see it up here in the top right hand of your screen. Now, we don't know if fans will be able to attend these games or not, but it is still a very fun schedule, to say the least, in my opinion. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and give a schedule prediction here. I've done that on a couple of different places. I talked about it on Bucs Report. I believe I talked about it on the Cannon Fire podcast, as well as on Real Talk Perez's show. There's a couple of places where I've given my thoughts, just to kind of give you a baseline of what I'm thinking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers schedule. I'll go ahead and save that for the end of the video. So if you want to get my general thoughts about it, just wait till the end of the video. But talking about this schedule real quick, it's a lot of people are very happy with it. And at first, there were some things I was not as happy with, and I will talk about that in a second. But overall, I think that this is a wonderful schedule. Obviously, having Tom Brady as your quarterback, having Rob Gronkowski as one of your tight ends, and just having all the pieces the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball, this looks like a fun schedule. There are so many games that are worth watching, and that has been very much made apparent by the NFL, as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have 5 primetime games this season. When is the last time the Buccaneers have had, I want to say, 3 primetime games? I feel like they've had at least 2 back in, say 2018, maybe 2017, but 5 primetime games. That is the maximum amount of primetime games you can have in a season. And they are some absolute beasts of games, guys, okay? Week 5 versus Chicago, that's a fun game. Hopefully the Buccaneers can get revenge from the last time they played Mitchell Trubisky and the Chicago Bears, where he absolutely tore apart the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. It's a completely different team since then. The loss, the Las Vegas Raiders, Week 7, October 25th. I had to look at the schedule real quick. I thought it was going to be Las Vegas Rams, but that did not sound right to me. No, the Las Vegas Raiders, Week 7, 2 weeks after the Chicago game. That's going to be absolutely amazing, because it's going to be John Gruden versus his former team, which I don't think we have seen yet. So you're darn right I'm going to be watching that game. It is going to be an away game, unfortunately. Really wish it could have been a home game, but versus John Gruden, that is arguably going to be possibly the most watched game for the year, personally for a lot of Buccaneers fans. It might not be the most watched game on the entire Tampa Bay Buccaneers schedule, but I could see a lot of Buccaneers fans having a lot of personal stakes in that game, seeing Jon Gruden back in a Raiders uniform, coaching against his former team that he won a Super Bowl with. That's got to sting for a lot of fans. It's certainly going to sting for me to see that because I very much enjoy Jon Gruden as a head coach. Week 8 versus the New York Giants. That should be a fun game. Hopefully the Buccaneers can get some revenge on the New York Giants from the debacle last year where Matt Gay missed a last-second field goal to win the game, but I'm sure we are all sick of talking about that game at this point. You then have Week 9 versus the New Orleans Saints, and the Buccaneers have 3 primetime games in a row, Week 7, Week 8, and Week 9 versus the Saints. This is a playoff caliber game. I'm going to get to it in a little bit, but Week 9 versus the Saints, that's going to be a phenomenal game in a very crucial point of the season. That's right at midseason. You would imagine the Buccaneers and the Saints are going to be the two teams who are, battling each other for that top spot in the NFC South, and that could be a very, very decisive game for that battle to lead the division. So that's going to be a very important game to watch. And then finally, Week 11 versus the Los Angeles Rams. There we go. Man, I'm getting tongue-tied between Las Vegas and Los Angeles, Raiders and Rams, but the Buccaneers do get to play the Rams again. Last year when we played the Rams, that was actually when I had my first ever MrBucsNation watch party, which went awesome, by the way. And I do want to say I do plan on having another watch party with hopefully a ton of people showing up and we can all watch a Buccaneers game together. I'm thinking Week 7 versus the Raiders would be a pretty good one, but I'm not going to say anything official yet. But Week 11 versus the Los Angeles Rams, it was an absolute phenomenal game last year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and hopefully they can continue that momentum in a home game in primetime in Week 11 versus the Rams this year as well. And like I said, 3 primetime games in a row, Week 7 through Week 9. That's going to be awesome. There's so many national football, just NFL fans. I don't know where I was going with that. There's so many just general NFL fans who are going to have the opportunity to watch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. And I'm happy for that. I think that Lavonte David's finally going to get the national recognition that he deserves. Mike Evans as well. I think that he's a top 5 at least wide receiver in the NFL right now. And I think that he is going to certainly get some national recognition from just the national fan base. Chris Godwin as well. It's the Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski effect. That's just the way it is. Shaq Barrett, I think, is going to get some national recognition, which, please, he freaking deserves it. Jason Pierre-Paul, Devin White, Carlton Davis, I think, deserves some national attention. And, Vita Vea and there's so many guys. There's so many guys who just deserve national attention. And the Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski effect is going to give those guys that recognition that a lot of them deserve. So I'm very, very happy about that. I mentioned this earlier, playoff caliber games. There are so many playoff caliber games for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. And that isn't to say there weren't playoff caliber games in seasons past with Jameis Winston as the quarterback. But with Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski as your quarterback and tight end duo there, as the 2 freshest signings on the team, including guys like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, O.J. Howard, Ronald Jones, the offensive line, the phenomenal defense. This is a playoff team. Okay, at least on paper, this is a playoff caliber team. And when you look at all of these games, you have some phenomenal matchups. You have Week 1 versus the New Orleans Saints at the Saints Stadium. That's going to be awesome. If the Buccaneers win that game, that's going to be so huge, not just for the momentum for the season, but also for the narrative of the season as well. Because I feel like in Week 1, if the Buccaneers were to come out, lose to the Saints away, that would hurt a lot of, immediate good feelings that fans and just national people would be having about the team, which I think would be ridiculous to a certain degree, of course, but it would still probably happen. So if they go in, beat the Saints away Week 1, that's phenomenal. You also have Week 5 versus the Green Bay Packers, Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers at Raymond James Stadium. Yes, please. I really hope that fans can go to games because I'm a season ticket holder and I want to watch Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady in a Buccaneers uniform at Raymond James Stadium. Give it to me. I need it in my life. Week 9 versus the New Orleans Saints. I've already talked about that game. That's going to be huge, but it does bring up the point of Drew Brees versus Tom Brady 2 times a year. That's playoff caliber games, man. It is what it is. You're watching two of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and Tom Brady, he's probably the best, versus Drew Brees, he's probably in the top 5 versus each other twice this year. That's playoff football, man, for regular season ticket prices and just, watching it free on TV or whatever. It's great stuff. It's absolutely great stuff. Week 11 versus the Los Angeles Rams. I know some people have said that, the Rams have fallen off the wagon. They're not a playoff caliber team anymore, but I never count out the Rams. Jared Goff and the pieces that Sean McVay has been able to bring in and just work with both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. I think they're still a sneaky playoff caliber team. They were just a season or two. Actually, yeah, they were just in the Super Bowl, not this most recent one, but the one before that versus Tom Brady. And now Tom Brady gets to play him again. It should be a lot of fun. Week 12 versus the Kansas City Chiefs. We get to watch Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady. That's amazing. I believe they've already played each other while Tom was in New England, but we get to watch that again. Yes, give it to me. It's home at Raymond James Stadium. Again, I really hope that we can go to games because it's going to be awesome seeing Tom Brady in a Bucs uniform versus Patrick Mahomes just in Raymond James Stadium. Give that all to me. I need it in my life. And then finally, Week 14 versus the Minnesota Vikings. That's just another playoff caliber game. I can't say it enough. The Minnesota Vikings, they're always making the playoffs. They're always a good team. And now Tom Brady gets to play them in a Buccaneers uniform. I can't say that sentence enough. Tom Brady in a Buccaneers uniform playing this team or that team. That's just awesome to me. And the Buccaneers have a lot of tough games. I just named a lot of tough games, but you cannot deny, whether you're a Tom Brady fan or not, that those are going to be some awesome games to watch for Bucs fans. Finally, guys, I wanted to give my overall thoughts on how I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to do this season. I think the floor for this team is going to be 10 wins. I think Tom Brady has only had less than 10 wins once in his entire career, and I think he's going to keep that streak going, guys. It's Tom Brady, it's Rob Gronkowski. This Tampa Bay Buccaneers team looks really good right now, okay? And I know that optimistic James is always optimistic, but I think the floor is 10 wins, okay? This team needs to make the playoffs, hands down. There is nothing else that can happen that I think would satisfy the fan base. I know people are also chiming for Super Bowls, and I'm chiming for a Super Bowl as well, guys. Trust me, that's what you're all hoping for at the end of the day, and you should hope for a Super Bowl at the end of the day. And I think that the floor for this team is 10 wins and a playoff appearance, and I think the ceiling is a Super Bowl. And I think that the difference between the floor and the ceiling, I think that this team is a Super Bowl caliber team. And I'm not going to give my full predictions here in this video, but that's just how I feel very quickly. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Another fun fact, the Buccaneers play on my birthday, November 15th. They play the Carolina Panthers, so I'll be excited to watch that game and having a live stream, hanging out with all of you guys, being able to talk about some Buccaneers football. But guys, that is going to be it for this video. Let me know what you think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2020 schedule down in the comment section below. What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? I think that it is a phenomenal schedule. Last thing I do want to mention is the bye week in week 13. I know a lot of people were upset about that. I initially was upset about it too, but a lot of people talked to me and said, well, if the Buccaneers are going to be in playoff contention, getting that late of a break is going to be pretty good. And I agree with that 100%. I think having the late bye week is going to be a very beneficial thing for this team because they are going to be in playoff contention and hopefully in Super Bowl contention as well. I think they will be. So yeah, guys, that's it for this video. Let me know your thoughts about all this down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs!